What is up, YouTube? It is Grivot Gaming, and we are looking at Apex Legends Season 6. It is finally here. And if you're anything like me, you have been waiting for this moment for a while because it seemed like Season 5 was just never going to end. It was like all the quests and everything ended, and it was kind of a cool finale, and we were thinking we were going to another planet, and we were thinking we were introduced to the new legend, and then none of those things happened. And we ended up waiting for a while for the season to end, and we had Always Be Closing evolved, which was kind of I don't know. And anyway, we made it to Season 6, and we're actually seeing some Rampart gameplay here. I played her because, well, you know, I'm sure people want to see Rampart gameplay, and I think I tried to use as much of the new guns as I could in these videos, but my first impressions of Rampart were a strong it's funny, like if you look at most popular streamers and YouTubers are like, oh my god, Rampart is so OP, like Rampart's going to break the game, and Rampart is, you know, like the best legend ever. I honestly, I'm not going to say she's the worst because it's so hard to tell what a legend is actually going to be once the meta finally settles down. But just like some early impressions of her, she gives me the same feeling a lot of legends that aren't the legends I play, which is if you get caught out in the open, you're dead. Which might sound weird given the fact that she can build walls and a friggin' defensive turret, but if she's building walls in the middle of a fight, you are dead. The walls have almost no health. They're almost like Fortnite walls, and I can't help but think they got some of the motivation from Fortnite. Because yeah, if you're building a wall in the middle of the fight, too bad, it'll just drop in a second. If you get it up all the way and the energy shield kicks in, it's reasonably hardy. It'll absorb some damage for you, and of course it also has the upside of, you know, it amplifies any damage that's going out, which is huge because you could set up your whole team and just mow everyone down. But that's the thing, you need to set up your whole team. She is not the type of legend that you just like randomly you know, I mean, you can play her in pubs, sure, but to get maximum value, it's probably going to be ranked. It's probably going to be with your 3-stack, and you're going to know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to pick choke points, and you're going to defend those, and you're going to, you know, ambush people using the amp shields and Sheila. So, will I be using Rampart? No. I still really like Revenant. I really like Wraith. Unlike, yeah, you know, Revenant's not super fantastic if you get caught out in the middle of an open field, but then Revenant also has the ability to push in with his totem and like get killed and come back instantly. So you do have a fair amount of survivability that way. Wraith is just always good all around, so no issues there. Like, she can always survive. Rampart to me reminds me a little bit of like Watson in the fact that she is very powerful in some situations, but to get yourself in those situations, you're going to need a really well coordinated team. That's of course just my opinion, and I am a below average player, and I don't know what she's going to be. In the hands of a really good player, maybe there's, you know, stuff that I'm not even thinking about. Obviously, if you can get an amp shield in play and you have like shroud like aim, you'll melt anybody, because, you know, any percentage more damage is just going to be huge in the hands of a good player. But in the hands of a bad player, you're going to put walls in weird places, you're going to put them down in the middle of fights, you're going to get shot down, and it's just not going to have the same impact that you would like. But I'm not willing to say that Rampart is bad. She's no Octane. Sorry, Octane mains. Octane's just kind of bad. But at the same time, she's not a, you know, she's not a Wraith. She's not a Gibby. She's not a Caustic in my mind. Even I think she has a place. And like I said, we don't know what the meta is going to be. So that's the new legend. I mean, it's cool to have somebody else in the mix. It's kind of cool seeing this stuff all around the map now with like the, you know, the energy shields are there. Sometimes you can play off other people's stuff. Heck, you can even pick up the turret and start using it at some point too if you wanted to. But yeah, moving on from there, the map. I like the changes, the new areas, and unfortunately, I don't remember them off the top of my head. But there's the one that is in the former drill site location. There's the one that is south of Sorting, and there's another one that is east of where Mirage Voyage used to be. They have these like raising blast walls, a lot of loot, a lot of really interesting angles. So you have like lots of opportunities to shoot down on people if you get the jump on them. So and yeah, they make traversal of the map kind of interesting. There's lots of little like back hallways and stuff that you can go through, which is all really cool. So yeah, I've been enjoying the map changes quite a bit so far. I think the rotations have improved a ton. So if you're in that area south of Sorting, you can now go into Sorting. You could theoretically go over the dome. You could go west to Tree. And those are like rotations that just were not happening in the past, and now all of a sudden they're a big part of the ways of making around the map, and it's taking areas that were like severely underutilized and making them viable, which is cool. Yeah, the actual points themselves, yeah, I mean, like lots of loot, lots of verticality, which is really cool. Makes the map feel a lot bigger for sure, because a lot of those areas like south of Sorting were just like a no man's land. They just were not used at all. So yeah, I'm liking the map changes quite a bit. I'm still kind of getting used to it all. I'm sure a lot of people are. But yeah, it's been really good. And then, of course, the next big change are the weapons. And you're going to see a little bit, not in this first video, but in the second video, you'll see me use a little bit of the Volt. And energy weapons are king this season. Again, maybe the meta will go a different way, and I'll end up looking like an idiot when I watch this back later. But as it stands right now, the energy weapons are absolute monsters. The Volt is not like OP by any means. It's very strong in the way that R99 was very strong. If you just dump a clip and you miss all your shots, it's not going to do you very well. But at the same time, if you manage to bore down on your target and actually dump a clip, you're gonna like hose anything. And it's very steady. There's not a lot of recoil. It's very, very easy to use. So all in all, energy weapons are pretty much where it's at, especially when you bring the turbocharger. The turbocharge Havoc is a freaking monster. I don't understand the devs in the Havoc. It's like a roller coaster. It's like sometimes they're nerfing it because it's out of control, and then they're buffing it again for some reason, and then they nerf it, and then they buff it. It's buffed again. Oh man, you got mags for it again, you got a turbocharger for it again, and the recoil has been reduced.
But it's not, apparently not.
You heard that right, a reduced recoil Havoc. As though the recoil was tough. I mean, I wasn't enjoying the Season 5 second half Havoc recoil. I mean, they intentionally put that in there to keep it in control because it was like a laser. I don't think it's as perfect as it was at the end of Season 4, but it is very, very controllable. And now with the turbocharger and like a 36 round mag, oh my god, the Havoc is just a monster again. Your biggest challenge, I think, weapon-wise in Season 6 is honestly going to be finding enough energy ammo to actually feed these things. And I haven't even talked about the devotion. It's a devotion. There's a reason it went into the care package. It is a freaking monster. It has it has a super controllable recoil. It has long range damage. It has almost no shot drop off. With the turbocharger, it has barely any spin up. Its hip fire is absolutely lethal. Its ADS fire is absolutely lethal. It is a freaking monster of a gun, and there is a reason it went into care packages. It will be nerfed. As it stands right now, it is just, man. Again, if you can get the energy attachments, you put them on the devotion, it just annihilates everything. It is, yeah, a monstrosity. So it's totally viable right now to have a Volt as your close range weapon and a Devo as your mid range weapon, and you're good. Just carry energy ammo. get as many attachments as you can. People are running like light and heavy guns and picking up every single energy attachment they can, because they know once they have like a mag and pretty much like a mag and a decent stack of ammo, they're going to switch to energy weapons. I don't know if that's like early season meta because everyone is so enamored with all the energy weapons that are there, but just in usage, and like you'll see even in my highlights, like the Volt is no slouch. It's not exactly like the R99, but it's really comparable, and I think it's better in a lot of ways. I think its mid-range game is much better than the R99 was. It doesn't climb quite as much. I don't think you can clip dump quite as well with the Volt as you could with the R99. I'm sure we'll get our DPS tables and stuff like that, but the Volt is a really good replacement for the 99. So Volt, Devo, totally viable. L-Star still sucks. That's like the only energy like that might be the only energy weapon where somebody picks it up just to hold energy ammo until they get a Havoc or a Devo or a Volt. But any of those three are really good guns, and absolutely prioritize them. The Hemlock is really good. The patch notes didn't really make a huge deal of it, but they did mention that the Hemlock, I believe it's the delay between the bursts in the burst fire mode and the actual recoil of the burst fire mode have both been knocked down. So if you're a single fire with the Hemlock guy like I am, you want to change your ways and you're going to want to go back to burst mode. It is awesome. You can really throw out a lot of damage. It's super accurate at long range, and you could really surprise some people. I need to do some more experimentation to see if I like it more than the flatline. I think I might get to that point, but that flatline is very satisfying and dependable, so we'll see. Shotguns, not really any changes there other than the pink color of the Peacekeeper when you find it. The care package weapons are like this, I guess you would say like a fuchsia color. Kind of looks pink to me. But anyway, those get called out differently, but other than that, not really any changes. Sniper's got another nerf, which is baffling because I don't know why you would need to nerf snipers. They're not viable at all, in my opinion. But yeah, the ammo stack size for a charge rifle has been increased because it uses 2 rounds per shot. And given the fact that sniper ammo is really rare, that means like another challenge in using a sniper. Just don't use a sniper. It's not where the game's head is at right now. The rest, the Prowler got a slight buff in burst mode and a slight nerf in full auto mode. Haven't played around with enough to have an opinion. I think it did seem a little bit easier to use in burst mode, but with the Volt being a thing, I think I'd still rather run the Volt until you can get the select fire. And when I was using the Prowler with the select fire full auto, it felt the same as it always has. Maybe they added some recoil, but it wasn't hard to control at all. It was really satisfying. So that's kind of it for guns. And then on the other side is the crafting mechanic, which is a little weird. Probably given some of the items that are currently in there. The way I see this predominantly being used right now is people are going to get a Devo, they're going to get a Volt, get every attachment that they possibly can. Guaranteed if there is any kind of energy attachment in those replicators or the fabrication points, those are going to get used up right away. If you can make a turbocharger, because the loot actually changes day to day and week to week. If you can fabricate a turbocharger, that is what everyone is going to be doing, because they're just going to grab a Devo, grab a mag, get as much ammo as they possibly can. And that's the other thing. I mostly only ever actually use those terminals to generate more energy ammo. So I had something to feed the beast, being the Devo. So the whole picking up materials and using it, the devs talked a lot about how it could potentially change the game, and it gives you opportunities to it kind of encourages you to rat out a little bit. Like you could theoretically just go around, loot everything, get as much of the crafting materials as you can. You can craft your armor all the way up to red, and you could just craft yourself enough ammo and maybe not attachments, but enough ammo to be viable in the end game. So, I mean, for people like me who are a potato, I mean, technically that could be a savior, but I do generally try to fight, so it wouldn't be that beneficial. But yeah, I don't see that happening. The game has gotten way faster paced. the lower health pool, the lower time to kill, and some of the weapons that are on the field now, people are dropping like flies. It's starting to feel like Call of Duty. Like, people are just getting shredded between the Volt and the Devo. Amp shields, which are doing more damage, the overall health pool dropping. It is a very different game. This is the I honestly think, despite the fact that we're not going to a new map and there's not like a huge number of changes, this to me is the biggest like feeling change in the game so far. Less than, not so much like changing content, it's just really changing the foundation of the game. It is becoming less of a game where you have the option to kind of play it slow, because I mean, sniping is completely discouraged. Although now that the time to kill is lower, maybe snipers might become viable. I think the only thing that's going to change that is, and I'm calling this now, the Kraber is going to come out of the care package. It's going to become a regular weapon. That is going to change the meta again, and I'm betting start of Season 7, we see the Kraber come out of the care package. It's going to be like ground loot, and maybe we finally have a sniper meta like we did back in the early days of Season 3, where the charge rifle was king and you were terrified of crossing any open space because of snipers. So overall, oh yeah, I guess I could talk about like cosmetics and the battle pass and stuff like that, but you know, every YouTuber's covered that. That Bloodhound skin is dope. It is amazing. I love that thing. Nothing else like stood out a huge amount. The G7 skin at the end of the battle pass is pretty cool. I could get behind that, but I never really used the G7, so it doesn't really impact me one way or the other. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Season 6. I'll definitely be playing more. I'll be tracking my progress with AimLab. My KD is kind of where it was at the end of Season 5, actually a little bit lower. I was kind of hoping to get a bump at the beginning of the season, but I started off on the hind foot, as it were, because the game came out really early in the morning. I was very, very tired, and I was playing very, very poorly. At least that's the excuse I'd like to give myself. So anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great day.